We can make a proactive pact to maintain and protect our sense of connection, love each other with an awareness of each other's needs, set an intention to eliminate the four horsemen, and strive to communicate effectively. But let's be real, sometimes the negative cycle of communication will get the best of us. When the reactivity starts to rear its ugly head, we can join forces and tackle this cycle head-on, stopping it before it gains momentum and grows larger and, like a tornado, sweeps us up into its devastating effects. The hope is that you and your partner can be cycle slayers and recognize the negative cycle as the enemy with a life of its own. Whether it continues to grow or dissipates depends on your ability to prevent it from gaining momentum. By standing together and addressing it early, you can stop the tornado before it builds into a destructive force. So get ready to unleash your inner cycle slayer because we're about to put it to work. Keeping sane. Stopping the cycle before it gets bigger. Naming your cycle externalizes it, transforming it into a separate entity you and your partner can team up against and conquer. After you've understood and named this pesky intruder and fully accepted that it's the real enemy of your relationship, you'll be better equipped to stop it in its tracks by launching the SANE approach. S. See what is happening. Be mindful that you are caught in the negative cycle. A. Accept your part in the cycle. Pause and acknowledge your role in the situation. N. Name the cycle. Identify and call out the negative pattern by name. E. Engage toward healthy relating. Take steps to engage in healthier, loving behaviors. This approach helps us to notice the behaviors and recognize that the negative cycle is starting. Accept our part in the cycle. Call out the negative cycle with our partner, and make an effort to engage in healthier ways of relating. Let's look at an example. Josh and Priscilla sat at their cozy dinner table, the aroma of a homemade meal filling the room. Despite the warm atmosphere, an underlying tension lingered, waiting to surface. Having anxious tendencies, Josh found it difficult to relax because he and Priscilla had to discuss their finances. These types of conversations triggered Priscilla's avoidant tendencies, which often overwhelmed her. So she preferred to steer clear of conflict, but left those conversations with a lot of shame. As they started eating, Josh hesitated but then brought up the topic weighing on his mind. "Priscilla, I've been thinking about our finances," he began, trying to keep an even tone. "I feel like we need to figure out a way for you to contribute more." Priscilla's shoulders tensed. She put down her fork and sighed. "Josh, you know I'm doing the best I can. I don't make as much as you. I don't have answers for you. What do you want from me?" Josh's rising anxiety and racing thoughts produced a harsh tone as he said, "But it's not just about how much you make. It's about finding a way to balance things better. I feel like I'm carrying most of the burden." Priscilla's instinct was to retreat and avoid the confrontation. "I don't know what more I can do," she replied, her voice edging toward defensiveness. "I'm already stretched thin by paying off student loans, leaving me barely able to contribute what I do. Why do you always have to ruin a perfectly good meal?" Now angered, Josh said, "Why do you always want to avoid real conversations? You never want to talk about budgeting or maybe getting another job. We need to figure it out, now." They were slipping into their familiar negative cycle. Josh's anxiety and frustration led him to push harder, while Priscilla's avoidant tendencies and feelings of being overwhelmed triggered her to want to withdraw. But as they were getting sucked into the negative cycle, Josh remembered the SANE approach from their therapy sessions. See what is happening. Josh took a deep breath and recognized the cycle they were in. He saw his own anxiety driving the conversation and Priscilla's defensiveness building. He knew nothing good was going to result if they kept going. Accept your part in the cycle. He paused, acknowledging his role. I'm sorry, Priscilla. I know I'm putting a lot of pressure on you right now. Priscilla looked up, surprised by his shift in tone. She felt a slight relief but remained cautious. Name the cycle. Josh continued, I think we're falling into the penny dreadful. Their agreed-upon name for the negative cycle that got the best of them, leaving them both feeling frustrated, hurt, and disconnected. Engage toward healthy relating. Josh, with a softer tone, said, I get anxious about money, and I push you, wanting some kind of solution, which makes you feel attacked and want to pull away. Priscilla nodded slowly. Yeah, and then I feel like I need to defend myself because I'm already trying so hard. Josh reached out and took Priscilla's hand. Let's find a way to work on this together. I don't want to make you feel bad. Maybe we can sit down another time and look at our budget together. See where we can adjust things without it feeling like a blame game. Priscilla squeezed his hand, appreciating his effort to change the dynamic. Okay, I can do that. I want to help and don't want us to fight about this. They finished their dinner, appreciative that they didn't allow Penny Dreadful to have the last word. The next evening, they sat down and approached the budget conversation as a team rather than adversaries. By using the SANE method, seeing what was happening, accepting their parts in the cycle, naming the negative pattern, and engaging in healthier behaviors, Josh and Priscilla managed to stop the negative cycle in its tracks and strengthen their connection. You and your partner can use the SANE approach when the negative cycle starts to rear its ugly head.